Finish this up with question 5. And of course, as we've been doing, you want to copy and paste your data into an Excel worksheet. Okay. I don't want to start with A because we've got to rearrange our data before we can run our plot or plot our data. And so to me, it's going to be easier to start with B, and then we'll come back to this. We're going to use a simple regression model with dummy variables as follows to develop an equation to account for seasonal effects in the data where quarter 1 equals 1 if it is quarter 1. If it's not quarter 1, it's 0. Quarter 2 equals 1 if it's quarter 2, otherwise it's 0. Quarter 3 equals 1, otherwise it's 0. Let's walk through this. We're going to completely reorganize this data because if you look at this, what you see is it's telling us our 4 quarters. So for quarter 1 of year 1, year 2, year 3, quarter 2, and so on and so forth. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to say quarter, and then we're going to say year, no, I don't want to do it like that. I'm going to say quarter and then quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and then year. And actually, I think I want to add year twice. I think I'm going to add year here. You'll see what I'm trying to make sense of this. Okay, hang with me because this can get confusing. Okay. I have 4 quarters in a year, and I have 3 years. Okay. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters in a year. So year 1, okay, and then year 2, and then year 3. There's 4 quarters in each year. So now I'm rearranging the data, okay? So for year 1, I'm going to copy this and paste it here so that you can see. Let's get a fun color going here. Okay. All of this is year 1, okay? And so I'm going to copy these. And now we can see that year 2, okay? See that making sense? And then we're going to say the same for year 3. So now our data is completely reorganized. Okay. These guys here are my dummy variables. Okay. Oops. I don't want to do that. I want this. These are my dummy variables. Remember when it told us to make dummy variables? Okay. And it said if it's quarter 1, make it 1. Otherwise, make it 0. So that's quarter 1, that's quarter 1, and that's quarter 1 of the 3 years. Okay, so that means these are all 0. Then the same for quarter 2. If it's a quarter 2, make it a 1. Otherwise, it's 0. following me, or you can just plug your numbers in over here on my spreadsheet. And then the same for your quarter 3 is a 1. I'm leaving quarter 4 alone for now. Okay. I don't know why that column goes so wide. I must have had something here before. Okay, now I'm going to run my regression. So I'm going to say data analysis, regression. My Y range is my data from the year. And my X is going to be my 3 quarters. Output range, let's tell it H3. Make sure that you have your labels checked. Tell it OK. There is my equation. So if I look at the question, 3 decimals. So my y-intercept for me is 8.667 plus my quarter 1 plus my quarter 2 plus my quarter 3. Make sure to give these negative if yours are in fact negative. That's the equation. So that's part B. But also I'm going to go back to A now that I have my data organized. And I'm going to take the year, insert, kind of look like that. So now I can take this and let's move it somewhere out of the way. So now I can look at that and compare it to the graphs. I just know that 1, 2, 3, 4 is year 1. These are quarters, right? Quarter, the way, you remember how I did them here? Since the first 4 are all year 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's year 1. 5, 6, 7, 8 is year 2, 9, 10, 11, 12 is year 3. So I can see for mine, I'm going to tell it's definitely seasonality. We can see that the 3rd quarter is low. But I'm going to say that in general, I have positive data here. So you won't have the same numbers as me. So you'll have to look at that. Okay, where did you go? There you are. Okay, so now to find the year 4 data, what I do is I need to, again, set up my dummy variables, these guys here, just like I did before. Just shorter. So I've got your 4, 4, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the quarter. So this is just a smaller version of what we just did. Now, to find these, the values that go there, I'm going to say equals the intercept plus MMULT, all of quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3 only, not the labels, comma, then quarter 1, quarter 2, and quarter 3 off of my chart from the previous section. Close that. It should automatically fill in all of the values, and they will all have the same values in the decimal place. And those are the values that are going to go in down here. Then it wants us to do the MSE from, oops, I jumped way down. Oh yeah, that's a different question. Okay, so go up here. Sorry about that. So it wants us to find the MSE from this model and this model. And so to do that, remember MSE equals sum of square error divided by n. So the MSE equals this divided by observation. I'll give you some colors on that so you can see. And so then I'm going to need to do another regression here to get my MSE for my 4 years. Is that what it wanted, the 4 year? Oh no, it wants us use a multiple regression method to develop equation to account for the trend. Oh, okay. Okay, so now we're adding in that t. So what we're going to do here is we're going to data analysis, regression, t equals 1 for quarter 1, t equals 2 for quarter 2 in year 1, so on and so forth. Ah, okay, got it. Okay, we have to build a whole new pattern here. Okay. So let's come down here and so these values here will go in your chart for C. These are part C. Okay, and then D. Okay, so we've got to make another, and so the best thing to do is to copy this from part 1, copy it and paste it so that you've got, so you just want year and quarter and then your Q. So you want all of this. I actually want all of it and year, all of it. Put it all down there and then highlight year, insert a you want to shift right. So you're going to insert this column to the left. And you're going to insert a column called trend. And trend is just 1 through 12 because there's 12 months that we're looking at. Right? 3 years is 12 months. So now we've entered trend. Pretty easy. Now we're going to run a regression. And it says... Okay. Okay, so here's what this is going to look like. Data analysis, regression. Your Y input is going to be year, still. Hold on, okay, I like to give it the title so when it prints out, I know what it's talking about. And then your X is going to be quarter 1, all of trend. And I'm going to put mine on sure, that looks good. Oh, nope, I'm covering something, so I 43. Okay. So here's my equation. Remember, I think it wanted it at 3. Let's make sure 3 decimal places. So I'm going to go ahead and I like to do it this way just so I don't have rounding errors, because to me, when I'm looking at that many numbers, it's easy for me. They all kind of start looking the same, especially after you've been, doing stats for a couple hours and your brain's kind of like fried. So this is the equation, and it'll go in just in the order that it's written. Make sure that if you have negative values that you put those negatives in, and that T is the trend. Okay, now it wants us to compute. My computer screen must have jumped all the way down there to MSE earlier to get confused. So, but well, it's fine. We'll come back. So now it wants me to compute the quarterly forecast for the next year. Oh boy. Okay. So how am I going to do that? Oh, look, I did. Okay, well, we'll do it over here. So I'm going to have my year. I'm going to have my quarter. Q1, Q2, Q3, and period, like we had up here, but we called it trend, but I'm going to call it period, and then trend, right? No, FT. FT is the prediction. Okay, so if that's 3, then these are 4, 2, 3, 4, quarter, 1, 2, 3, 4, quarter 1, 1. That was 12, so I'm just picking up from there. 13, 14, 15, and 16. And also, it tells me it right here. So we're going to do this just like we did earlier, except for now we're using this chart. So remember, we went equals the intercept plus MMULT. Doesn't matter if it's cap or lower. Didn't I put the formula somewhere? Okay, I'll type the formula out for y'all somewhere. Okay, MMULT. Now I'm doing my 3 dummy variables plus period. Comma. Then I'm doing these guys. And it filled it in for me. And I'm going to say that right there is a rounding difference. So when I round these guys to 3, see, just like above, I have the same decimals. Oops. One more. One more. There they are. And so that is the answer to this chart on E. And then I can do the MSEs at once. And let's see, which ones did it want? It wanted the model B and the model D. So this was my model B. And remember that the MSE, and I did that one already, is the sum of square error divided by the n. So that one's 1.889. And then in this one, we'll do the same thing. My residual sum of squares and my observations. So let's see, where did I want that here? MSE E equals And that one is 0.12. So they're quite different. So which one's better? They're very, very different. This one was 1.889, and this is 0.128. So I'm going to say that does it ask me that? Oh, it does. So I'll put the MSEs in, and then it said the model developed in, and I'm going to say part D is more effective because it has a smaller MSE. All right, well, we made it through Chapter A. Hope you had fun and learned a lot, because this forecasting can come in really handy in a lot of different professions, whether it's accounting or if you're a CFO or if you're a vice president of sales, if you're running inventory. There's always things to forecast. So you might want to hold on to these notes.